Hello everyone and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. My name is DFree. Here today I'm going to give you guys some tips and some tricks as far as like building teams for hit is concerned. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, hit that subscribe if you're new for more content. I want to mention in the beginning of the video, if I sound weird, I still have a little bit of a speech impediment. I should be fine in another couple of weeks or so bear with me. But one of the questions I get asked a lot is kind of like, how do you build teams for hit? That's what we're going to talk about here. And also I did tweet out a few days ago to asking some people to send me their boxes so I can kind of show them off and build teams from scratch from the boxes that are provided to me. Because if I'm being honest, not a flex or anything like that, I'm just being honest, I have every unit, and 99% of them are at least 5-star up. I spent a lot, whatever, it's not a secret, right? But the reason why that's important to know is because the reason I wanted to do this is because I didn't want to use my own box. Because my box, I can definitely say, oh, if you don't have this at this limit break or whatever, but it's more realistic to show you an example that I can't show you from my own account. So we're going to do that towards the end of the video, but I do need to explain a little bit of hit. Hit needs to be alongside either yellow, blue, or green characters. You want to make sure you have only these elements for the most part alongside hit, because he is not getting access to his buffs for the most part, and they're per bonuses. So like, if it's yellow, yellow, blue, for example, so 2 yellows and 1 blue as your main 3 battle members, which is Hit's best team in the game, by the way. He is not better on Universe 6 or anything like that. Like, it's very interesting. He's very versatile, but not versatile at the same time. But regardless, though, he's getting bonuses based on per. So if you're running yellow, blue, Hit as your yellow, a blue element character, and like a purple element, well, you're missing out on a buff if you do that, for example. That's important to note when you look at Universe 6. Because 2 of the characters that buff it, albeit they have to buff it at 5-star, by the way, all 3 of these characters only buff Universe 6 at 5-star. Now, this tag will obviously improve. It will, definitely. Botamo, Botamagetta, I don't know if they're going to do Botamagetta, but Magetta, Botamo, they have access to Kefla. Like, they'll produce a new Kaba, in fact, because this is Kaba from the original tournament, not from the newer tournament, the Tournament of Power. They'll also do SS2 Kaba, like stuff like that. Like a base Kefla, probably. She might be a transforming unit, who knows? But long story short, we have more stuff to come, right? We don't even have base Kales, right? So, like, stuff like that. And then also SS2 Kale, which I thought was just controlled, but Dokkan calls her SS2, whatever. Like, there's more. There's more to come, right? So, obviously, there's stuff that's going to happen. Another group that he can pull buffs from is from the God of Destruction Champa group. So, these are the characters that are from that Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament. Now, there's a free-to-play Kaba because he has a scout battle now. He obviously is on banners, but he buffs strike attack alone or strike attack and defense for the characters in this group. So if you run Hit alongside the blue Kaioken Goku, you are going to obviously want to put Kaba on your bench most likely, right? Especially if you have him 5-star plus. And again, he has a scout battle for you guys to be able to try to do that. But the other groups that he has access to, again, would be the blue characters, things like that. And again, I mentioned yellow-blue is his best setup, right? And that actually breeds versatility because he can be alongside something like double blue Goku here, and then the Super Saiyan blue Kaioken Goku and Hit. That's a pretty good setup, right? Or something like this Final Form blue Cooler alongside full power Frieza and Hit is also a very, very good setup. Also, other setups would be something like you can even bring in greens, right? Something like My Hit and Ribrianne is a good setup because Ribrianne can help. She's kind of tanky. She's also a good unit for last man standing setups. Also Perfect Cell alongside Slug or Android 13, or Gogeta, the blue Gogeta alongside yellow Gotenks SS3. So like, Hit can be put into all these different situations, and one of my personal favorite setups would be EX Zangia alongside EX Bojack and the Hit. Like, there's so much going on there. Hit can be quite versatile. Again, for a unit with not many teams, he can plug in a lot of spots. And also, a lot of people have found success with doing things like running Hit on like a full female warrior team where he's maybe getting 1 or 2 bonuses from Caulifla or something on the bench, whatever. But he's still good because he's designed to have these bonuses regardless of if he's getting Z ability buffs. That's the point. The most important thing to know is as long as he's alongside a yellow, blue, or green character, he completely shreds. He doesn't need 5 or 6 Z ability bonuses, right? You do not need to do that. I think he's fine with just probably 2. With 1, he's fine, really. But with 2, he's fine. The least I run him with is 3. You do not need, again, a bunch of Z ability bonuses. I know that's contrary to what you would know from building teams in this game up until this point, but you don't need it because Hit is designed to work with limited support, which I think is something a lot of people are missing. Again, he's better if you do, but you don't need it. Speaking of Z ability, the funny thing about his, he was on the 999Z power banner, obviously, and when he's on there, you pull him at 3-star. If you pull him at 3-star, he is the first non-Legends limited unit that has access to 2 buffs at 3-star. First one in the game. They want you to run him on yellow-blue. But for the record, if you didn't pull him the 3-star, you don't have the blue bonus. And then if you get on a 5-star, you pick up the defense, which is a whole other thing. And also, it's 33%. My gosh, man. So if you don't at least get him 3-star, you're going to be in a situation where, again, he's fine. It's just more or less he's not buffing your blue unit, which obviously you would probably want. So we're going to, from here, and again, this is not his best team. I keep seeing a lot of people trying to mention Universe 6 is not his best team. But if you want to run Universe 6 specifically, like if you're looking forward to it, you have to first decide whether or not you have these units at 6-star, and then you also have to be meta aware. For example, you don't have a blue unit here. I mean, you have EX Frost, but he's not good enough to use as a main unit. He's a bench unit right now. When he gets a buff, maybe, but he's not. So really, you're looking at only the Sparkings and maybe EX Caulifla, but you still probably wouldn't want to run her. And then you look at Caulifla and Kale not even giving his 2 uniques. He's only going to get it for himself and Kaba, right? So it's just little weird stuff like that. But I'd say by far, Kaba is the best Universe 6 character other than Hit for this meta, because of the fact that Kaba does the switch bonuses and also has the buffing green card, which are things that Hit can benefit greatly from. It makes Kaba one of the better units to use with Hit if you're specifically looking for a green ally, right? And then if you use Kaba, you can use Kaba to make up some of the deficiency with Universe 6 characters, or you can use a Vegeta card like the blue transforming Vegeta. That would be the best way to run that trio. But let's go ahead and look at some of the team options other people have provided me, and we'll go from there. So this setup he's using, okay, so there are a lot of different ways you can build teams. Again, I mentioned that you can plug and play him on just about any team and he's fine. he's just good, man. It is what it is. For a unit without many teams, he works pretty much everywhere. Again, it varies to how good he'd be, but still. This is one of the better setups, though, that I mentioned. I actually really enjoy the ability to have the coverage from Cell, the cover change, and then also having Slug as your blue unit. Slug is actually really good, especially for the Dragon Ball mechanic that he has, and then also just the sheer damage, and also at being a melee unit. So he was asking me here, he says this is his team. He's not sure if he wants to run Android 13 or Slug. I would say 100% run Slug. The reason why is because if you don't have Cell 5-star, you probably might want to run 13 because the Z ability bonuses. That's the thing. But if not, even if you don't, to be honest, even if you don't have Cell 5-star to buff regen, again, it doesn't really matter if you got a bunch of Z abilities. I try to make sure at least every unit has 3 bonuses is what I'd say by rule of thumb, but it doesn't really matter. The thing is, Slug is a melee unit. He fits this niche better. These are other 2 melee units. The other one's a blast unit, and a blast unit in Android 13 who gets bonuses dependent on Android allies being defeated. Ideally, Cell hasn't gone down, and then Hit's done an Android. So, like, it's little stuff like that to where, yeah, it'll work, but it's not one of your better, more peak options. As far as the bench is concerned, Pikkon is good because he offers yellow characters HP, which adds to longevity of your 2 yellows in this scenario, Hit and Cell. And then post 5-star, he offers movie characters, aka Slug, a strike defense bonus, which again, good for defense. TN is a strike attack and defensive bonus. Alternatives to TN would be Android 16 yellow, EX, also Bardock, EX, and I think that's pretty much it. I think there might be another one. And then Goku SS2 is double attack, strike and blast for yellow characters specifically. Same thing applies to Heart Virus Goku if you're looking for an alternative. A lot of people are running SS2, Heart Virus, and probably like TN or 16 on the bench and just going full offense, man. Full offense, man. But yeah, for his setup, honestly, he provided his box. I don't see any reason to change anything. Like, I think this is fine. He's doing pretty much everything he would want to do. The only thing I can mention is it depends on your playstyle. If you want to drop Pikkon and add in Heart Virus Goku, or again 16 or one of these other units that buffs other stuff, you're fine. Also, a sleeper option is EX Piccolo because he actually helps Cell's regeneration, and he also offers HP to yellow units when he's post 5-star. So sleeper options. You also have double yellow defense options like Sparking Frieza alongside the yellow EX Scouter Vegeta. So there is a lot of options between the yellow character group, but I think his team is fine. I wouldn't change it. I'd actually run it this way personally myself. So there's that. We're going to look at Minax here. So Minax actually has a good box for the most part. And what I mean by that is there are units in here that obviously are not in a position like Pikkon to be able to be most effective. But there are other units in here that are, like Kaioken Goku, right? Kaioken Goku is one of the better Z abilities in the game because blue and element is always nice. Color and element is always nice. So let me go ahead and start off here. So here are all the EX down here. He has access to Hit, right? Hit's right here. So 3-star Hit. Again, that's important because that's only one copy, but it's on the other banner. So if you did dailies, you wouldn't get them at 3 stars. So it's important to know. But again, I don't want to dissuade you. If you have a 2-star hit, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. You're just missing out on strike attack in your blue unit. If your blue unit is, especially if it's a higher end blue unit, you're fine. He has that Vegeta. He also has Kaba in here. So those 3 I already mentioned, Kaba, Transforming, Vegeta, and Hit would be a really good trio. But is that peak trio? No. I think one of the better trios is one that's getting a lot of traction, which is the Hit alongside Full Power Frieza, which he has a wailed out Full Power Frieza, and Final Form Cooler, the blue one. I mentioned that one earlier. Incredibly good. There are other very, very niche setups as well, like Hit alongside this yellow Goku and alongside Future Gohan. You can do things like that. It's very niche, but it turns Hit into a complete monster, which he already is. Also, you have other options, such as running Legendary Finish Goku alongside another yellow character like this yellow Goku, who's also really good. Like, this yellow Goku is a sleeper option, especially if you're running another blue Sun Family character. Like, this yellow Goku's green card is phenomenal. Phenomenal. One of the better ones in the game. Definitely worth consideration. And I don't really talk a lot about green characters because green actually does not get a bonus, right? But I do want to mention, as far as green is concerned, don't sleep on that Kaba as a support. If you run Hit Blue Goku, make sure you're running Kaba as a support. So let's just build a team for the Hit Blue Goku setup. So Hit Blue Goku Kaioken, and ideally your blue unit would be either Legendary Finish Goku or the other Blue Goku. In this scenario, honestly, I'd probably take the other Blue Goku personally, just from my playstyle. But Legendary Finish Goku is obviously the better unit. But the Anniversary Blue Goku is no joke. That unit is phenomenal overall too. So let's just say we go double Blue Goku alongside Hit. What would the bench look like? Well, the bench from there would be Green Kaba. I'd say Green Kaba, wherever he's at. He's in here somewhere. I already mentioned him earlier. Giving you, at that point, you're giving Hit and Blue Kaioken Goku a strike attack and defense bonus if you have him 5-star. If not, you're still getting just strike attack. Now, another one that'd be really good is actually any other Sun Family buffers, really. But I think looking for the last 2 units, I'd probably put in a 5-star Kaioken Goku, the older Kaioken Goku, if you have that, because he's actually going to buff both Gokus by strike attack and defense. And not to mention, depending on the limit breaks you have on the older Anniversary Blue Goku, that's a double buff for both Gokus being in the God Key tag, right? Not to mention, this one buffs strike attack too. So you're seeing a scenario where these units already have, just from what I've laid out, 3 or 4 bonuses, right? And then for the last spot, I'd go just a yellow unit. Ideally, a double attack or a strike attack and defense, like Android 16. So just for the complete team, so I'm not all over the place, I'd say Blue Goku, Hit, and then Green Kaba, right? And then for the last 2 spots, you can either go with 2 yellows or something like a yellow and Kaioken Goku, the other Kaioken Goku that buffs Sun Family or Blue. You'd be just fine because both those Gokus would get that. That's another scenario that you have access to. Again, there are incredibly niche options in here too, like, again, Future Gohan, things like that. Speaking of Hit, you can also run him alongside something like Mai, Ribrianne, and Hit. That's a very good setup because you have access to switch bonuses with Mai. You also have access to Mai's busted green card. You also have the heal from Mai. And then you have a unit in Ribrianne, who's actually one of the better characters in the game, in fact, who also is a last man standing type of, or last woman standing type of unit, who can get those bonuses too, and also make up for the cover of Hit being a red unit, right? Or covering red units on Hit. So she'd be fine in that scenario too. And then for the bench for that, again, you can just go female warrior bench, or if you have a Khalifa at 5-star or Kale at 5-star, those characters work there too. Also, Kaba at 5-star on the bench because he'd actually buff HP for Mai and Hit. If not 5-star Kaba, he'd just be buffing it for Mai, and in that scenario, I'd probably just run female warrior bench. At least, see, with that trio, Mai, Hit, and then also Ribrianne, I'd ideally, personally, run 1 to 2 female warriors on the bench, and then I still always make sure you have at least 1 more buffer for Hit, whether it's a double attack or strike attack and defense or something like that. That's up to you guys, but that's another scenario. Also, another niche alternative would be Gogeta, the blue Gogeta, alongside SS3 Gotenks, alongside Hit. That's another very good one, and again, same scenario, just go pretty much with blue, yellow bench. At that point, you can also run the 40%, 20% red Vegito base if you want that. I don't think you really need that, but if you do that, just know that blue Gogeta is going to be a phenomenal defensive unit, which is probably more along the lines of what you want from him anyway, because you need that color coverage, versus red units. And then also, when it comes down to it, I don't want to discredit greens a lot because they're still obviously relevant. Let's say you do something like Buhan and then Perfect Form Cell alongside Hit 2. That's another alternative. So let's move on from this box. My Nex has had enough from me. He knows how to do it now. So here's another one. So in this scenario, he's laid out his blues and stuff like that. So in the blue list, he's got some good characters. He's got a lot of ones I mentioned previously, like Cooler. He's got the blue Goku. He's got the transforming Vegeta. He has access to Slug. He's got some really good stuff in here. So we're going to move on from here. Take a look at his greens. His greens, he has Kaba. That's most important to note. Other than that, not a lot of greens. Again, I don't really like to run greens personally. They're good, and there's characters like EX Trunks who'd be really good and stuff like that. You can also get cover change from Ultimate Gohan. You can do some really janky stuff with Hit. That's the point. Like he's criticized for not having teams, but you can do some crazy stuff. You know, Mai is there too. And let's look at. I don't really need to look much at purple because I'm not really going to do much with purple. They just be bench units. But here's some yellow units. Okay, so he has a 2-star hit. This is a good example. Okay, so I'm sure red is in another tweet. I don't really need red. So for a 2-star hit, why are these coming in weird sizes? For a 2-star hit, okay, for 2-star hit, I think this actually, is this the last one? No, I have one more team to look at. For a 2-star hit, without you still run blue units, but without buffing blue, it's automatically a nerf because you need color coverage. You need a way to handle reds like ultimate, father son coming behind Gohan, stuff like that. So for these blue units, so I've noticed those units. I need to go back to the yellows. Let me go back to the yellow units, so for the yellow units, he has the Slug, Hit, and Cell trio. That's good to know. Among yellow units, he also has the 5-star Pycon. Those 4 automatically, and you can make the team that we showed initially, and you're fine. Really, you just make the team we showed initially, and you're honestly fine. Also, you can do something like Final Form Frieza, right? Who's a yellow double defense buffer, so that actually helps a good bit. Final Form Frieza alongside Final Form Cooler, and you'd be good with that setup too. Also, if you look more at the blues here, he has EX Evil Boo. So let me try to do something with Evil Boo here. Among green units, there's not really much to do there, but if I look for more regen units in the purple-yellow group, you can actually run Evil Boo alongside Cell. That works. Also, if you're looking for more regen-centric stuff, because you have a lot of regen stuff, you can do Demon King Piccolo. He would work too. Now you're getting into far less optimal options, but they are options nonetheless. Also, if we look at some of the greens here, because I would like to include green, he has Kaba. See, the thing about Kaba is, if I'm not gonna run blue Vegeta, the blue transforming Vegeta, I would 100%. And I don't plan on running purple blue Vegeta, right? Yeah, I'm not Super Saiyan blue. He's just not getting hits bonuses is just not. It's a no-no for me. But I'd honestly rather run Mai. Like in a lot of cases, if you don't have access to that, you should just run Mai. You can also do yellow, green. That's a thing too, right? For the mirror matches, yellow, green would be really good, and especially because there's a lot of hit running around too. So 2 yellows and a green, like Mai, you'd be fine. But let's say for Mai, you go yellow, green, blue. So hit Mai, and let's look for a blue unit here with the box that we have access to. For the box that we have here, really there's not a great blue to plug into that trio or that duo so far. I'd say the best one probably would be either Pod Frieza or Pan. Pan is actually really good for the Z ability bonus that she offers. Well, yeah, but not really that. But the bonus she offers for allies in the beginning of the battle, they get really powerful. Other than that, you can do something where they don't have Z ability bonuses from Mai or Hit, and you can, well, if you have a 2-star Hit, right? You can do either Blue Goku and then also like transforming Vegeta. Those are options too. Also, you can even do stuff like blue, yellow, like Krillin. So Krillin, Blue Goku, and Hit would work very well too. That's another trio you can run. But if you do that, I would recommend running full yellow bench support. And the downside too is the Blue Goku and stuff like that are not from the movie; they're from the anime. So Pycon can't give that Blue Goku the defense up like he could a unit like Slug. So different things like that. Let's look at the last one here. So donut time. All right, so he's doing something a little different here. For this one, I can already see this purple Goku. He's only offering blast defense. you don't need that. You don't need that. Pycon is only offering HP to these 2 units, considering that none of these units are movie units. No. Oh, no. Never mind. The Vegeta's from the movie. Okay, so this is the same thing we've talked about before on a couple of occasions. Pycon's fine. Frieza's double defense. If you have a higher starred yellow EX Vegeta, and you specifically want double defense, he'd be a better fit than Frieza. For that trio, though, specifically, I'd run probably strike attack and defense or double attack unit, whichever you prefer. It depends on your playstyle on the bench over both of these units, the Goku and the Frieza on the bench, and you'd be fine. You'd be perfectly fine because you're getting strike attack from... Okay, so Vegeta's actually getting 3 bonuses here. Yeah, again, 3 minimum, you're fine. So what I would do, though, again, he has the cooler. That's pretty much the best setup. If you didn't notice by now, the cooler Frieza setup is pretty much the best setup, which he has access to. So, like, there you go. But if you want to run these characters specifically, I would, again, opt for 2 yellow buffers because you have 2 yellow units. You don't have to run yellow buffers because if you have that Kaba, obviously you can plug him in and you'd be just fine with that. The green EX Kaba, the free-to-play one I mentioned multiple times now. And then you're pretty much good. Yeah, so he has the EX Vegeta in the bottom right corner with more stars than the Frieza. That will be better than the Frieza. I'm pretty sure he has a better Z ability bonus than the 3-star Frieza. So that's pretty much it. Again, there's about 5 or 6 teams that are really good with Hit, that are the best teams, right? And then there's other alternative options you can run. Like, for example, I've seen a few SSG Vegetas. You can go Hit SSG Vegeta and then a blue unit that's either a Saiyan to buff SSG Vegeta or somebody like Blue Goku, the blue Goku. Something like that, too. You can even go Hit alongside Bardock and another yellow or blue Super Saiyan, ideally. If not, green does obviously work, too. Like, there are some very, very creative and niche options you can run. So that's what I wanted to get across to you guys for the most part. Regardless, though, I hope this information was helpful for you guys. And if it was, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. And I'll catch all of you guys in the next one.